Hey, everybody. That was weird. That was awkward.
Hi, everybody.
Terrible.
Never do that again, hey?
Dr. Nick.
Oh, God.
White thing connects to the red thing. The red thing's connected to my wristwatch. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's dangerous. Well, welcome to the First Folk Plane Podcast, episode number 24. We are closing in on Christmas, so head to our new website, ffpp.ca, to find out where to send your gifts. And if you email our email, which I'm not going to name, it doesn't work now that we have a new website. So there's that. Sorry, guys. We're trying to work through that.
There's three of you guys. Come
Email
on.
is customer service at disney.com.
Or Trevor at slamfireradio.ca or Oh, right on. Well, welcome everybody. We are
Trevor Furlot in 5 seconds flat.
Oh, I am a master at that. Well, once again, we are proudly brought to you by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, Canada. They are Canada's premier precision builder of lightweight hunting rifles, starter packages, and extreme long-range monsters. EM Precision has the right stuff to get you running out ahead of the herd. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at emprifles.ca. Yes, sir.
The CA is for Canada.
Canada. Well, Kurt, you on the next one or should I do it?
Yeah, sure. I think I just found the show notes. Like, what happened to that revised version of the show notes? Yeah, I guess we're on the same one.
I just clicked on the most recent one. I was assuming you did it.
I'm still glad that I'm on probation, Rick, so I'm not even privy to any of this.
Yeah.
I just sit here and eat my ice cream while they figure this shit out.
That's what I thought about COVID, man. Your little bracelet doesn't have to get violated.
Other things are getting violated.
Yes.
Oh, that's all right. I forgot what show I was on.
It's not that type of show, guys. Come on.
All right. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Bolt Action Coffee, who bring you exclusive award-winning specialty coffees to the precision shooting community, boasting specialty coffee cupping scores. I have trouble with that every time. Of 85.5 or higher, Bolt Action Coffee roasts will get your morning started right and keep you on target all day long. Choose between Scopes Up, Overwatch, Suppressed, and I think that's it, isn't it? We still got the 11th hour roast in there.
Yeah, but that's sold out.
Yeah. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at boltactioncoffee.com.
Chris, do you know what code to use to get 10% off your order?
You better.
First, don't tell me.
Son of a...
First.
You're fired.
First.
You fired.
Isn't this first focal
I'm
plane?
going to burn your car.
Isn't it just first focal plane?
First focal plane, all caps.
Yeah,
So,
see? I fucking know everything.
that's right.
Yeah.
Use it. We're currently second right now.
Yeah.
Second to who?
Bush Wookie Apparel.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
I
Wookiee.
know. We're second to
Slamfire, Kelly says.
No, Bush Wookie's beating us by 2 orders. So get those numbers up, boys. That's and girls.
Kelly, I need you to use the First Focal Plane podcast twice tonight, okay?
Yeah.
and then I'll go use the Slamfire code like twice.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. we got to pump up those numbers.
That's right. Always. Well, our squad leaders segment, that's us, I guess. We are that segment is brought to you by Callsign 66, a veterans-based organization founded to facilitate multi-generational passage of information, ballistic applications, research and development, and shooter development, whose collective function is morally motivated and experience-based. That's a lot of big words for an ad read. We're going to have to talk to Miles and see if we can write a new one. But welcome to the Brotherhood. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website, callsign66.ca. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. Why don't we start with Chris there? Chris.
All right. Well, my name is Chris. I'm a bald man with blue eyes, and I like shooting guns.
Indeed.
Fan of frozen dairy products, apparently.
Oh, man. Can I just say that the chocolate frosty is probably next to the blizzard, next to an Oreo blizzard from Dairy Queen.
I'm on a diet. How dare you?
Is delicious.
Put your feelings away.
Put your feelings away.
I
I'm not going to lie. I am eating my feelings right now. And my feelings taste fucking great.
Tastes like chocolate ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right on. Rooster?
I'm Rooster. I don't know. I'm boring as shit. Don't have much to offer. I do the precision rifle thing marginally well. And I sit and listen to you guys, which is highly entertaining for me.
You know, he's only self-deprecating like that so that we feel obliged to tell him that we think he's such a great guy.
I'm fishing. I am seriously fishing. Come on, guys, please.
Tricky Rick.
Boost.
Who are you?
It's Rick from CRPS, all things Rimfire. Somehow I ended up sticking in the Rimfire game. It's been a fun couple of years, actually more than a couple of years now. It's cheap thrills, guys. Cheap thrills.
Absolutely. And you know what? In part of my circle, you are known as that 22 guy.
That's good of my IQ, right?
No, I don't think that's it. But okay. To make
Somebody
myself
thinks highly of himself, 22
Happy
IQ.
to be here.
No
guys.
kidding.
Happy to be here.
La-di-da.
That's actually his age. So,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
well, right on. I am Sean. I work for a living. I have a son, and I am poor as shit. So that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes, but you have my M&P.
Not yet. Ken, get on that.
Soon.
Well, I did get the shipping notification pretty quick. So
Excellent.
yeah, shout out to the Ontario CFO for finally doing something on time for a change. So
You guys are so lucky, man. The last restricted I bought took 2 months to get transferred over.
What?
Quebec. It was bad. I don't know what they're like now, but it was pretty bad.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I hear my buddy in the West got it like the same day. Bought it in the morning, picked it up in the afternoon.
yeah,
Crazy
it
stuff.
usually takes 12 business hours for a transfer.
That's
out west.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky.
Oh, yeah. We're very lucky.
Aaron Rodriguez. Hey, guys. Hey, Aaron.
That's a new face. What's up, buddy?
There's a whole
Let's
bunch.
speaking of new
Kenzie.
things, let's go around the table. What are we drinking tonight? Let's start with Rick.
I got my Auchentoshan single malt 3-wood
Bless
You're
you.
a big fan of the singer.
bourbon. All the
That sounds
roast and
delicious.
sherry cask. Yeah, it's delicious. I still think my favorite one is the Caribbean rum cask that I had in the summer on the summer road trip. I always bring a sponsored by a whiskey bottle trip, and this year was a Balvenie Caribbean rum.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was nice. I still miss it. She was nice.
I like me rums from St. Croix,
Nice.
the island of St. Croix. That's my favorite rums. I don't care what brand. If they say that it comes from that island, I'll drink it.
That's yours.
Yeah.
nice. Kurt,
Well, I'm sticking with the scrapper again tonight. It's the proper 12 whiskey. Nice smooth whiskey.
can't go wrong with the proper 12.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to beat that, especially for a lower price whiskey.
Well, for the bottle you get, it's priced pretty well. So
It's a damn classy bottle.
that's right.
It's got a plug thingy in it.
Speaking of class acts, I am slumming it with the Alberta Premium Rye Whiskey.
Oh,
Nice.
I gotta try that sometime.
I've heard so many good things about that.
It's so good. It's my jam, and it's well priced. Like a 26, I think, cost me $23 taxing. So loving
Yeah,
it.
we don't get that out here in Quebec, so I have to wait till I get on my road trip and pick up a bottle or two.
Yeah, they're anti-Canadian out there.
I wonder if you knew a guy that could put one in the mail for you. That would be
My wife would be very suspicious.
Canada Post.
who's this scene guy? Yeah.
Oh, honey, don't worry. It's just a buy-off.
We gotta bribe him out here somehow, right? So
In what universe are you worth buying off, Rick?
You guys are going to have to excuse me for a moment because I'm going to go grab an Alexander Keith's.
Oh,
wow.
nice. Wash down that Frosty with a good Keith's.
That's right. That sounds awesome.
Typical Tuesday for Chris, washing down a Frosty with a guy named Keith. Hey, he's not here, so I can say that. But really, he could kill me at will if he wished.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he could.
Anyway, now that he's back, let's get back on track here.
Yeah, quit talking about me.
Aaron says, try lot 40, 100%
Yes.
Canadian rye, award-winning, made in Windsor.
I've had it before. It is tasty stuff.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to review any and all bottles of rye or whiskey or
Yeah.
Scotch.
You
or
know, we
bourbon.
tried that for quite a few episodes. I'm going to say at least 24 episodes when we first started out.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't get very much.
We got a lot of homebrew.
Just even one is more than what you have. So you just got to be happy with what you get.
No, that's true. Be grateful for what you have.
Grateful.
Yeah, not grumpy about what your neighbor has.
Exactly. I mean, take a look at yourselves. Look what you're working with, man. Just be
Thanks,
happy,
Rick.
buddy. Just be
I'm
happy.
not saying.
No
No.
worries.
I might have had more impact if you had kept a straight face while you were saying it.
Maybe.
So, Rick.
Yeah.
Rimfire. We've talked about it in the past on a previous episode.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the people who weren't listening Friday?
Yeah.
Let's tell the people who or what exactly you do in the gun community.
So in the gun, so there's a couple of things. So my very first intro in the gun world as a competitor, that's really where I started. Service rifle and CQB. That was my jam, way back when in the 2010s. Remember back in the day when life was fun. But part of that whole process of trying to learn how to shoot that, I needed to get instruction. That's kind of how I got turned on to Project Appleseed and eventually became part of the Project Mapleseed crew, because that's how I got my start into the rimfire world. That's kind of how people start getting to know me. And really the goal there was to get more people into the shooting sports and using Project Mapleseed kind of as that one-day civilian marksmanship. If you haven't checked it out, mapleseedrifleman.com. It's a full one-day intensive teaching you the fundamentals. Chris can attest to that. It's a long day, but it's a rewarding day. Well, you went out to last year there, Sean. You saw us at Regina, I think, right?
Yep.
So, and that's kind of where I said, well, let's bring this out. Nobody was going to bring it out, so it was kicked off by a guy out of Bancroft, Ontario, Doug. He wasn't able to take it on, so a bunch of us. That's where I met these amazing people: Mario Calcagni, Kelly Lynn, Kevin Latham, Stacy, the Appleseed Princess, and we all got together and said, let's make it happen. And we on a road trip down to a Texas instructors boot camp, we came up with basically the fundamentals of what the organization was going to be. So I think it was 3 days down, 3 days there, 3 days back. We had the whole Project Mapleseed laid out. Well, actually, Kevin did it all. We just kind of laughed and drank with Kevin, threw our 2 cents in. So, and then just started snowballing from there. And then a few years later, said, well, what do people do after Mapleseed? Right now that you've got all this fabulous skill set, where do you go? And then I was talking to Adam Patterson at Korth, or Adam reached us, hey, why did you guys put a competition together? I said, well, that's interesting. And then, so, well, what are we going to do? And then we heard this NRL 22 is coming up. It's kind of like a short course, 25 to 100. Said, well, that's really no different than shooting off your bench, right? At the local range. Why do we make this like a real competition, make it really hard? And that's kind of where the idea for the Canadian Rimfire Precision Series is, let's shoot, the equivalent of centerfire rifles with a rimfire and see where it goes. Because until, before 3 years ago, no one was shooting rimfires past 100. Like 100 was a long poke for a rimfire. Nobody would. Oh,
Wait a second, no. Jens can attest. I was shooting with deep sight.
Of course.
Out to 300, you.
So Curtis is we got to measure. We got to measure now.
That's right. Damn it.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, Kurt, but there's always someone bigger, faster, stronger, and longer.
I know.
So
That's
yes,
why I
that's
don't do
you.
it anymore.
But not but not everybody. But not everybody. Right? So most guys will say, "Wow, that's
He's
really
right.
long."
His name is Chris.
All right.
So
You
that's
guys.
that kind of. So let's put a program together and let's set up some matches, and to make it exciting, let's make it a national series. And that's, luckily for me, I had the experience of Project Mapleseed of being part of a group that ran nationwide events. So it wasn't that hard to say, well, all I'm doing is changing up the format and then organizing events across country. So thank goodness for the internet and Practice Score. Otherwise, with all that, without the country full of, eager and willing, range operators, this wouldn't happen. I mean, we go all the way to Vancouver Island with CRPS. So, and the goal was to make it challenging. So the equivalent of our matches is shooting a center fire 308 out to 1,200 meters, right? That's you're shooting past a kilometer when you get past 300 meters with a rimfire ballistically. That's the effect of it with wind and ballistics. So it's challenging. And they're I remember the first year the overall winner was running a Savage Mark II bolt gun. Right, that was the state of the art
Shooting Winchester Wildcats.
3 years ago, and now we've got within one squad, even the first two shooters in the squad, probably they've got more invested in their equipment than the entire field on that first 30-person event in Owen Sound 3 years ago. So yeah, so
Cool.
and then now we've been growing since 2018. So 6 events the first year, 10 events last year, and then 13 events this year. So this year we finished up, I think, over 600 competitors in CRPS, and then we've got this parallel short range. I don't know how many people know about the Outlaw Rimfire Precision Series, which is kind of a like NRL 22. The local ranges can sign up and say, "I'm going to shoot it," and then we provide everything except the match director for that match. So all the course of fire, all the practice score events, all of the medals, all the prizes. Title sponsors Vortex, they've treated us nicely. They've said, whatever you need, let us know. How many events, doesn't matter, let us know. We want to support the Canadian shooters. And they've just knocked it out of the park. I mean, guys can't believe the stuff that we put on the table at those events. So that adds another 300 shooters. So we're almost 1,000 shooters annually shooting the precision style matches.
Wow.
And and that's maxed out in terms of CRPS events. You can't really do any more because it's how many ranges have over 300 meters.
Mm-hmm.
We might add 1 or 2, but we're pretty much maxed out. So we started looking at, well, what's the next thing, right? Where do we go from here? So this year we added team challenge. So now, and people have kind of squawked about the format, which is a 4-man team. So at every CRPS event, we let a 4-man team start at the beginning of the year, and your 4-man team can go through the year shooting the matches and collecting team points. It's a little bit restrictive, so you got to settle on a 4-man team and keep the same 4-man team. So you can't be swapping, race horses every match.
What really are people talking about?
Yeah, well, 4-man's too big, 4-man's too hard, or we should be able to swap people in and out every match. And say, look, it's like group projects in university, man. Choose your teammates wisely, hang on to them, and this way you get to help other people develop skill sets, right?
Yeah.
So you're just not, hiring a hired gun or bringing in a ringer every match. It's your 4-man team that you're going to grow and develop. And that's the cool part. It's really building a community of shooters, which I'd like to think we've successfully done in the last 3 years. I mean, these are fun matches to be at, and it's the atmosphere is great. People just laughing and having a good time. You're having a shitty match, but at least you're having fun with your squad mates. You're all laughing together, which is nice. Rimfire ELR, Ken Thiessen, yes. Ken and the bunch of guys are just, 300 is like just a warm up for these guys. They're putting it past 500. A couple of guys are going past 600 yards this week. It's incredible.
Did you guys see the video that Kelly put up of?
Yeah, that's right. With Kevin and Matt.
Yeah,
we're just sending that stuff far. I don't have that kind of discipline. Like, there's a point where equipment. I mean, Kevin was looking for, I need a minimum of 100 MOA rail to get out that far. And I mean, there's technology out there. It's just a matter of
a 36-foot drop.
Yeah, no.
So that's like the team challenge. So CRPS team challenge was the real addition for CRPS, plus a couple of new targets. Aaron Rodriguez. Yeah, I met Aaron. We had a little mini match instruction, and well, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, just for those listening, Aaron says this is my first year in CRPS, and I have nothing but praise for the organizers and the fellow shooters. So welcoming and eager to help new shooters learn and grow in the sport, and that is what is severely lacking in the shooting community right now. And it's good to see that guys that are just starting out essentially are singing praises, right? Because that's what we need. We need guys coming back. It's good to have them show up for one shoot, but we want to have them show up for 10 shoots,
Absolutely.
and then continue to support the market and the community, right? So
yeah, and it's a little intimidating when you get on the firing line. You got the $10,000 rig standing next to your whatever you had that day. But I just tell people, hey man,
67 1022.
Exactly. These guys have been working at this for 3 years, man. You can't get that into your head. You're there to have fun, shoot within your limits, and figure out what you don't know so you can have more fun next year. Again, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you're probably not going to have a good time there. So just learn lots and soak it all in.
Well, that's good. Weed some people out, maybe.
Yeah.
well, potentially, but with CRPS, doesn't you compete within your division? It's like IPSC, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's really 3 divisions. There's youth, production, and open. Pretty much, the production is kind of really where you should start if you're just getting out, and most guys enjoy it. A lot of guys are surprised when they podium in production because they feel like they shot a terrible match, but that's what production's all about. It's you're just starting out with the basic kit that you bought. You've got a 1022 Savage Mark II, Marlin 795, right? That's what you've got, and you've had the balls to take that and show up in a match. I've seen some pretty amazing Franken guns. Shoot that division, and they have fun, which is great. They feel that they don't shoot well, but hey, within that division you're shooting awesome, which is exactly what that division's for. That's why the division's never going to go away, and we're never going to raise the limits of that, because then it kind of dilutes that new thing.
Are you
the other part is the youth division. Sorry, the youth division. All youth shooters shoot free at all our competitions. That's kind of what we're trying to get folks into. All we ask is that a registered shooter chaperones them throughout the day. That we don't want to be a babysitting service. That someone's got to take care of them. But again, that's our mandate. Similar to where can they go after that? It's CRPS and admissions free. So.
Are you starting to see an evolution as well in the type of ammo that people are choosing? No, it seems CRPS seems to have come along right at the time when there seems to be an evolution in the availability of Gucci ammo for 22. Like the timing was just right for this sort of stuff. So, did you ever?
The Olympic shooters have been shooting match ammo for decades, right? So it's always been out there. Yeah. But now people are now turning to, hey, what's the next thing I got to go to? And we always say you got to benchmark ammo within your rifle, because all rifles like something different, right? Even the same brand, same model, that particular barrel for whatever reason likes that ammo better than another. For sure. Like when we first started, I don't think on that first match, I don't think anybody was shooting anything fancy, or a minority may have been shooting fancy because they had that experience, but we had CCI Stingers, Velocitors, mini mags, standard velocity, Winchester Wildcat, box of bullets.
And you coming out with Blazer.
Yeah, Blazer. Yeah, Blazer's awesome though. That's where I start. When I benchmark one, it's CCI Blazer, then standard velocity, then Ely, the choice of champions.
It probably helps having your sponsor being
right.
Gucci ammo.
All kidding aside. So here's the cool part. Why does Ely sponsor us? Because we are responsible for influencing this year about 1 million rounds downrange in match and practice ammo. Right. We put a poll out there. How many rounds do you use? And I was blown away by guys shooting over 8,000 rounds a year. And not ones or twos, but like a majority, like 20%, 30% of the guys. Right. It's incredible how much people spend in ammo. And these are the guys that are placing well. I have no time to practice, unfortunately. I'd love to do more, but schedule doesn't permit, or I've not made it a priority. I guess that's the other way of putting it.
Yeah.
But again, it's a lot. For Gucci ammo,
like you're talking about the Gucci ammo and 1 million rounds downrange of that stuff, or a growth of. CRPS is the reason I started buying Gucci ammo. I used to just buy bricks of Winchester White Box and Remington Thunderbolts and things of Remington Golden Bullet, and that used to be it. And then I'm like, wait, I can really dial this in and get this going. And it just
I was always much more distinguished than that. I bought the Federal 525 pack.
Oh yeah,
the Federal Blue Box. Yeah,
yes, sir.
Shot my first Mapleseed with that.
Slow your roll, hot rod.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up to this guy.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's a certain level that you got to get to. I mean, there's a point where okay, it's a third of an inch group at 50. Do you need more than that? No. Like you don't even need more than probably half an inch, maybe even 3/4, because you're hitting generous steel. Our targets are typically not smaller than, not larger than, not smaller than 3 or 4 MOA, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got but again, farther out, it's wind that gets you. Wind and your ballistics calculator, knowing your dope is key.
Yeah.
For CRPS. So Gucci ammo has its place, but there's a point where, if I spend $10 more a box to get, 0.001 smaller, you're just
It's not making that much of a
turning
difference.
money into noise, man. Because at the end of the day, that group size is not going to make a material difference, because typically there's only 2 or 3 stages that are over 250 meters.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that going to be significant, but
So,
unless you're using Ely, and then I highly recommend using Ely 10X for every shot you take.
You need a timeout.
so I've been, the shameless plugs aside, I've been hearing for a while a lot of people in the Mapleseed circle talking about how they've been enjoying the standard velocity ammunition over the high velocity ammunition lately. What are you guys seeing at CRPS and at the longer ranges? Is it still the standard velocities? Because some of the standard velocity ammunition is barely doing the speed of sound at the muzzle.
Yeah. I mean, there's schools of thought, and probably the majority are shooting standard velocity with a small but vocal percentage shooting high velocity, and they do very well. Again, it's their confidence and their knowledge of how the gun performs at distance that makes a difference.
Mhm.
Right? It's all about knowing that it's going to drop X at Y
Yeah.
at this wind consistently. So we've got guys running Ely Force that are doing very well, and that's a high velocity. That's like the 338 Lapua of Rimfire ammo, by the way.
I was going to say that's the 338 Lapua of Rimfire.
42 grain juggernaut traveling at high velocity. So
Yeah.
it's an anti-materiel rimfire round. Actually, you know what? It's got a reputation for breaking targets in CRPS. Every time we've got a target failure up close, it's because someone was smashing it with Ely Force.
Well, you know why that is, Rick.
Why is that?
You may or may not know this, but Ely Force is the 338 Lapua of 22 ammunition.
I heard that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's on. I have one on a shirt that says that.
I just came up with that, by the way.
That's awesome.
I'm-
You're
I'm-
a genius, man.
Yeah.
Patent pending or trademark pending, right?
Yeah. So high velocity, standard velocity. Just be confident in whatever velocity you're using, because the bullet drops will change.
Yeah.
There's does it resist wind better? Who knows? You just have to know your ammo. But again, guys are very successful with Ely Force, and guys are successful with Ely standard velocity stuff. So
Are you seeing differences in actual bullet design or shape, whatever you want to say? With
there's
higher end ammunition.
yeah, I mean there's some flat nose stuff out there that people are talking about that they like, but again, it's down to, you're gonna have to test it in your rifle and see what works best, and then that is the shape and velocity for you, right?
Well, this is true. I'm just thinking, I guess, in the background of my mind, about the longer range stuff. We were talking earlier about guys going to 600 and that.
Yeah.
Just wondering if there's some, and like I was delighted to find that the federal standard velocity shot really well in my 452. It kept up with some of the more expensive stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to get way out there, like double the distance what we're talking about with CRPS. Is the bullet shape a little bit different on those ones, I wonder?
Yeah, I know. So like this is the year that people are starting to play with ELR seriously, or more people are starting to play more seriously. I know that Ken Thiessen was doing ELR years already, right? He and Ryan McLean have been, pushing in past 500 on a consistent basis. I think the guys who Kevin Goyette and Matt Huey were pushing it out past 600. They were shooting Ely Force, so that's the high velocity round. Could you do it with a standard? Possibly, but again, they didn't. So I don't know if Matt was using the same ammo, but really on a no-win day, as long as the trajectory is going to get you to that distance, probably you could do it, right?
Right. Yep.
On a windier day, is it better or worse to have a high velocity? I don't know.
Well, you could do it with round ball too, I'm sure, but
Yeah, it's just walking it out there eventually, right? You'll get there.
All right, Rick. Luke's got a question for you. He says, "Question for Rick." That's how we knew that he had a question for you. Have you ever tried that CCI copper bullet and 22 long rifle? LR stands for long rifle. In case you guys didn't know.
You are on top of things tonight, man.
I'm here to help.
Usually all the long range stuff I've used has always been just standard lead projectile. I've never tried any of the copper coated or copper wrapped.
Copper's for rich people.
And it's just plated, probably. It's not
plated,
not jacketed. Yeah.
Or sometimes it's just coated, like, sprayed on
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of ways of putting that color on there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask.
Hold me for a second.
I'm gonna ask you this question on a bunch of things tonight. So we've already talked about CRPS. So let's talk about we're talking about new shooters, getting more people into the sport.
Yeah.
You're a new shooter. You're sitting on the sidelines. You've heard about this CRPS business. You're seeing the people talk about it. You're seeing this Rick guy. His face is everywhere, but you're a little hesitant to get into it because your Remington 795, you just don't feel like it's up to snuff. What do you need? So let's do this like PC computer specs. What's your bare minimum and what's your recommended specs?
So I scored rifleman with a Marlin 795 and a fixed 4 power scope, right? So if you want to get into the game, I say if you've already got a rimfire rifle, take it out to an outlaw match. ORPS, outlawrimfire.com, I think is the website, or .ca. It's one of those two, and find a match that's being held near you, and that's the best place to start. That's where you'll see all the different gear. I don't recommend people buying new stuff because whatever you buy, you're going to replace anyway, because what you think you need versus what you see people using is completely different. So if you've got something and it's reliable, that's the number one thing, reliability. And we're going to talk about this when we get to the X22 challenge. But if you're just trying it out, look for an outlaw match near you. There's usually one a month somewhere that you can get to, and the max distance is 100 yards. So that's probably 6 to 8 inches of drop. That's easy to hold over, which is basically just one target height or 1.5 targets height above. So you don't need a fancy scope, right? So that's the easiest way to get into it. If someone said, "Hey, I don't have gear, what should I buy?" But I don't have a lot of money, I'll say buy a Savage Mark II in whatever barrel profile you want, FVSR or just a regular pencil barrel. We don't cook these barrels. You've got 10 to 12 shots max, right? And a decent scope. And there are many scopes out there. I'm not going to say one is better than the other, but there are two that we recommend. That's the Vortex Diamondback Tactical, 4 to 16 or 6 to 25, whatever, and whatever flavor, MOA or mil. And then there's the Athlon Argos Gen 2 BTR, right? Those are the two that we see as there you go, Mike Hynek.
Yep.
So yeah, those are the two that I would say if you're going to spend money, spend it on that, because you can take those two scopes and put on whatever rifle you want down the road and still be competitive. It won't hold you back. You might be missing zero stops, but there's ways to get around that anyway. So that's my recommendation. And then from there, you've got CZ457, then Tika. That's kind of the next snack bracket. Then above that, you've got the Ram 700 pattern, actions like the Voodoo, the Bergara, the Rimax, and the Deuce, and then Curtis and a whole bunch of others. And those are the ones that kind of come to mind, right?
So again, with the person just starting out, whether we're talking outlaw or whether we're talking CRPS, do you recommend? And again, assuming that someone is going to be buying something specifically for this, do you recommend the bolt action or the semi-auto?
I'd say I like bolts. I think bolts have a place and semi-autos have a place. Now, having said that, semi-autos have also podiumed probably 50% of the time at our matches this year, maybe 40%. So it's not the gun, it's the shooter at that point. A good bolt. I mean, these weren't stock rifles, but they were, semi-auto. So the whole myth of bolt versus semi-auto, more people are losing because of how they're shooting at the target versus what they're shooting at the target with, right? So it's about them pulling the trigger and adjusting. So you can be successful.
Go to a Mapleseed.
Also, I went to a few. I still suck at shooting.
Well, that's because every time I see you at a Mapleseed, you're not behind a gun.
I miss those days, Chris. I miss those days. Yeah. Hey, start a series. Start 2 series. You'll have more trigger time.
Yeah. Hey.
Big lie. I don't know who lied, but that lie sucks.
Are we going to change that when you come here? Are you going to participate?
No, we'll talk about that after. Also, that's another exciting. Yeah, Rooster's like itching to announce.
know.
I know. So again, so just starting out, those are the 3 or 4 levels. Savage Mark II with a Vortex Diamondback Tactical Athlon. Those scopes you can add to whatever rifle you get down the road. You've got the CZ457 and the Tika T1X. That's the next snack bracket. Solid rifles. People have meddled with both of those. Then after that, you've got the Ram 700 patterns that, it's at that point, it's not going to be the gun. It's going to be you, right? And the cheapest inventory, I think, is the Bergara B14R.
Like Ken said before on the previous episode, chances are you're going to have a gun that's going to outshoot you.
Absolutely.
10, right? So
absolutely,
it's all about training. He just commented here, as I said last week, people need to invest in more training.
For sure. Anything. Even so, Mapleseed for regular off the street adults is $75 plus a range fee, right? $75. How many rounds of ammo is that for you guys? Like, I don't know, 5 boxes, 6 boxes. Like, to shrink your group sizes in half or a third, that's significant. And we've seen that. We see guys start with 1.5 inch groups at 25 meters all the way down to half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, just by teaching them kind of the fundamentals. And it's a system. There is a system that we teach at Project Maples that helps you the aha moment of how, these are all related items that I never knew existed. So that's again, we didn't invent it. We're just passing on the message that we've learned from the guys in Project Appleseed, that these guys instruct 10,000 people every year.
Yep.
They have 1,000 events all across the US, and they've been doing it for over a dozen years. So they've learned a thing or two about how to teach people how to shoot properly. They taught me how to shoot properly.
Here's a side note question. So Project Appleseed is generally a 2-day course, right? First day being theory and history, the second day generally being practical use, right? So
it's a mix of both. You fire at targets both days.
Okay.
So just like us, it's exactly like us. We do chalk talk, then we fire 5 rounds, more talk, 5 rounds, more talk, 5 rounds. They do the same thing, but they intersperse Revolutionary War history throughout. So you've got, half hour of really interesting. And what's nice is, even if you go to multiple events, there's always different people presenting that topic. So it's always presented a different way. And it's
that was going to come to my next question. Are you looking to add that to the Project Mapleseed repertoire?
That was absolutely always our goal. We said, okay, we're going to start off with 1 day because that's all we can do. Because then we have to say, well, who would you talk about, right? Who are the important people we talk about? Permago? Well, what's the name? There's many people in the history of
Preshmerger or whatever.
That's the guy, right? And all those people in the history who've all the way to the voyageurs that put food on the table when they were out in Canada harvesting furs. But where do you start and where do you finish and how do you curate all that? And we didn't have time to do it.
A lot of Canadian history in terms of firearms. A large percentage of that is going to be talking about frontiersmen and hunters and homesteaders, not about the Revolutionary War or anything like that, or the Civil War or whatever.
Yeah. So it's a question of,
what about a more modern aspect? Like, like some of the world record holders are Canadians, right? Yep. For long. So could that possibly be an option, or?
It's absolutely. These are all options. The problem is who's going to do it. And we also ask people, well, would you sit through 2 days of that? Do you have time to do 2 days?
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people say, I'd love to, but 1 day works for me, right? They can give up 1 day.
Greek history.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know. Where do I subscribe for that?
It's just First Playing Podcast. It's ffpp.ca.
We'll start Greek history and theory coming through the website. Chris article on the blog, right?
That's bad if I become known.
That was a challenge. So we thought about it. And we've been waiting. We asked a bunch of people to see if they could come up with a list of things that we should talk about, that we can discuss. But then, at the end of the day, I mean, the first few years we wanted to pump through as many people as we could. The same message. It's more intense. And then we'll see where we are X number of years later to see if people have the appetite and the ability to give up 2 days of their weekend for a longer. Mm-hmm. I think a 2-day would you get more of that heat soak, right? So because we'd refresh some of the stuff we covered the day before, so the lesson would sink in longer. You'd have a more relaxed pace. Because for us, a day is long, 300 rounds.
Yeah,
prone in the hot sun on gravel, grass, and grasshoppers jumping up and down everywhere on you. it's tough. It's a tough day. So it is a challenge.
If we were teaching the same material that we're teaching now, only over a 2-day span, that would be interesting to see how people absorbed the material rather than drinking from the fire hose for 6 to 7 hours.
Absolutely. I think we'd have less stressed and more confident shooters coming out, because I think a lot of people get overwhelmed and they just get slapped into tomorrow with the sum of this topic. But again, there's a lot. And Brent Fraser asked, taking for granted the fact everyone should keep learning, is there a lot of value in Mapleseed for advanced courses? The resounding answer we've gotten has been yes. And we've had, retired master snipers audit the course. We've had, competitive shooters, PRS, IPSC. They've all said, hey, I never knew why to do that, but now I know why and how it connects to the next thing. So shooting is a system. If you don't know what that means, then there's definitely an opportunity.
It's organized formal instruction, whereas so many people have never had good organized instruction in the gun shooting world. Just that alone kind of makes it worth it.
Exactly. I mean, we all have training scars because when you go to the range, you're just yanking on the trigger, turning money into noise, and eventually just keep shooting more. That's the dumbest advice I've ever seen. It's okay, I keep crashing my car. Well, how do I get better? Just keep driving more.
Right.
Like take some driving lessons, right? And Ken Thiessen saying, he just shot his first one last month and totally worth it, even as an advanced shooter. Solidified the fundamentals that you need to train. It's a system. Like all good shooters have a system when they approach the line every time, right? If you don't know what that means, then you definitely need a course. So I say, young or old, new or experienced, you'll come away with at least one tool in the toolbox you didn't have before, or you didn't really fully understand before. And every time you go, it's a different tool that you'll learn, because you only ever hear 80% of what we're saying and only be able to implement 40% of what you hear. And only remember 20% of that. So.
It can be a stressful environment at the beginning, and then the fatigue wears in, and you are drinking from a fire hose, right? So it's a tough day. It is.
It is a tough, absolutely. But I love it because I see the improvement. The hardest thing people have to do is relax and just settle into it and forget how they shoot, but listen to what we're telling you, right? Listen to what you're supposed to do as opposed to what you think you need to do. Mm-hmm. We can see when people switch from what they're hearing to what they normally do. They fight that conscious management of the process and they go back to the subconscious of what they started with the day before, and things just go sideways. And
usually it's the time just before they're getting into the MQTs.
Yeah, and then they kind of struggle through it. They get frustrated. So, Mapleseed, definitely worth it. MapleseedRifleman.com. Sign up for notifications. We will be coming to a range near you. We had almost 40
to talk about the next venture that you announced last week.
Yes, we talked about the CRPS Team Challenge, 4-man teams. So this is run the same time as the regular CRPS. You're competing as an individual, but you also get to compete as a team in the same match. So it's not a separate match. It's all rolled into one. So you get bragging rights. And then we have aggregation for the year-end team champion as well. That's why we want you to keep the same teams. So that's good across Canada. So teams in the West, teams in the East. Our goal is to have an equal balance of events in the West and the East, so that we have a good chance of kicking butt from no matter where you are. So so that's CRPS. Throwing in new targets next year. We're putting in hostage targets. Which is cool. It's kind of like a head box beside the standard IPSC with a head. So that gets really painful. And the nice part about CRPS, the biggest growth thing we had this year was a whole bunch of match directors stepped up. So we had Chris Tischler, Thomas Gorgon, we had John Gingrich and Ron Sharp host matches, and all have different terrain, all have different ideas of how to mess with shooters, all have different props, and it's awesome. So for me, it's a breath of fresh air because it's not Rick's stupid muffler or tire hanging off the string again. It's something different. We're shooting off, skid steers. We're shooting out of vans. We're shooting out of trucks. We're shooting from, silos, whatever. It's awesome. So that's the big thing. You'll see more of that in the coming years as more match directors step up, as this series matures. You'll see people kind of take on the role of coming up with new and inventive ways of messing with you.
Well, exactly, and that's why IPSC is so challenging. Is that you get the match is only as good as its director and who designed the stages, right?
Yeah.
So,
And we're fortunate enough to have some really good match directors out there just waiting to mess with our minds. So I curse them and I applaud them at the same time.
Doug, I hated that tire in the wind at Medicine Hat.
Everybody did. Everybody did, Doug. Yeah.
Kurt, we got to haul out the old Toyota at your range there, and
Oh yeah, it'll be a fixture there for sure.
Yeah. That's CRPS. That's pretty much the update for CRPS. We're probably gonna have 15 matches next year. I'm hoping the Atlantic Wall comes down so we can service the guys out in the maritime provinces. They were denied their 2 CRPS matches in their maritime regionals, which is too bad. But we'll do our best. If I have to sneak across that border dressed as a moose, I'll do it. Just for you guys.
Are you taking the front end or the rear end?
It'd have to be the rear end. Just
Longest moose you've ever seen in your life.
mini moose.
Mini moose.
Oh, too
Thanks,
funny.
Chris. I can always count on you to lift me up.
I think the thing is, Rick, that my self-confidence level is so low that I just have to put others down to make myself feel better.
Whatever works, man.
You just take it well, that's all.
Oh man, you know, my parents always told me never to argue with idiots.
I disagree.
You're absolutely right. You're right.
Hey, can I change the subject before I start looking like a complete fool? What's this X22 business?
Perfect. Thank you for the segue. That's excellent. So the X22 Challenge Series is something new that, you know, so we wanted to get our feet wet. We wanted to get a solid base and said, okay, that's running well. Now let's look at other segments of the shooting community that are looking for a way to kind of strut their stuff and get out there and have fun. That's all we're trying to do is get more people out having fun in the shooting sports. So the X22, so the Roman numeral X is 10. So the 1022 challenge. Basically, we're getting to probably the most common, most modified, the most supported platform out there, which is the 1022 and all its variants out there in the marketplace. So we came up with, you know, it's 1022, but it's not the 1022 we're looking at. It's the shooter. So this is kind of looking at it's our version of the Rimfire Canada's Top Shot is what we're trying to do. It's a multidiscipline format. So you've got the stages you hate from ORPS and CRPS. So we've got 4 of those, 2 each. So that'll be from 300 down to 25 using kind of barricades and steel and multiple arrays that you've got to hit. Then we start adding ultra close range, which is kind of the door kicker CQB 10 meters to 25 meters, which is, you know, steel challenge, speed steel. So this is racing against the clock. 5 targets as fast as you can in the sequence that we tell you, and you've got to hit the stop plate. So just like Steel Challenge, you've got 5 runs and your best 4 times count. So this is Rimfire race guns, really, which is that 5th series we're going to talk about at the end. And there's 2 stages of that. And then we bring standing silhouette, which is the typical NRA small bore silhouette. We're using chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams, the standard shapes that you've seen and never knew what they were all about. This is shot standing. So this is very Mapleseed at this point now, right? So it's 40 meters, 60 meters, 77 meters, and 100 meters. And it's always chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams. That's kind of the 40, 60, 77, 100. And there's 10 targets, and you've got 2 minutes for 10 rounds. Bing, 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 bing. Right? 1 point per hit. So 2-minute stages. So it's perfect. It's exactly the same stage lengths that we have.
Regardless of distance, it's 1 point per hit.
1 point per hit. So it's a 10-point stage. And we'll use 2 of the 4 on the 1 days and all 4 on the 2-day championships. So our goal is to have at least 1 1-day event in the West, 1 1-day event in the East, 1 2-day Eastern championships, and 1 2-day Western championships. And the scores from those 2 events, the championships, are combined to pick Canada's best shooter.
Nice.
So
yeah, it's not about the platform.
Will be based on points.
Correct. And then also the last event is going to be Rimfire Precision Target, otherwise known as bench rest. So you'll be shooting prone at 50 meters at a bench rest target, and then possibly at 100 bench rest or 50 meters off a bench, depending on what facilities the range has. So these are scored paper targets. So it's not binary. We're going to count where you hit and score appropriately. Kind of like a Mapleseed Extreme, if you will.
Mhm.
and I'll be publishing the target soon. And folks that want to know, go to rimfireprecision.ca. That's our master website. All of the events I'm talking about will be posted there that you can find out more about it. Or you can email info@rimfireprecision.ca if you want to know more. The last one is a bench rest. And that one is going to be fun because it's the 50-meter target is 25 individual targets. And you've got to send one round at each one. And you've got 10 sighters to dial in, and then you go. So the squad actually comes up and shoots as a squad if space is allowed, or we'll split into 2 relays, which is going to be cool. So talk about stress. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get all the calculators out, and we'll find out who the best shooters are in Canada.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something similar but different from ORPS and CRPS. I think it's going to be a hoot to shoot, and I can't wait to try my hand at one or two of those stages.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
It must have been early September, maybe. I walked into a local gun shop, and I won't say the name this time because I only say the name if it's a fantastic thing. But and there was like nothing left for 22 ammunition. I said, "Hey, where'd all the 22 ammo go?" And the answer was, "Well, the 22 season is kind of over." And all I could think was like, are you guys not paying attention? 22 season ain't never over. Now
Right.
it's like off season is practice season. Now there's too much crap going on here. So do you anticipate 22 ammunition being in much higher demand in Canada over the next couple of years?
Absolutely. I mean, already this year, because we influenced 1 million rounds, we know that we're pumping out crap tons of rounds downrange, right? Next year, we're going to be close to double. So we're not going to see a double. We're not going to see 2 million, but maybe 1.5 million rounds going downrange because of what we're doing. Like 1022 semi-auto, man. You're just yanking on that
yanking on
that switch, right? He's going to send that thing downrange all the time. So yeah, it's going to have a little uptick, but it's going to be year round. I mean, our first official match now is February 6th, right? So that's the season starts early, and our last match was in November. So I was hoping for a couple of months of downtime, but nope. It's going to be all year round pretty much. At ORPS, we're going to run January to December. So
you hear that?
22. Yeah. Divisions. We got to talk divisions.
Okay. So, tell us.
So stock is stock. Anything that Ruger sells out of their factory is a stock, whether that's the synthetic gray model at 327 or the Ruger competition at 1075. Those are all stock rifles.
Got a Ruger stamp on it.
And Ruger and stock Ruger parts up to the point where if things wear out, you can replace it. But things that are performance enhancing, like a barrel, you got to replace it with a stock model that it came with.
So no BX triggers, even though it's Ruger.
You can do a BX trigger if it came on the rifle originally. So right. The Ruger competition and the Ruger target come with BX triggers, but the 1022 synthetic does not.
Right.
Okay. Same with mag release. Mag release and trigger packs are the number one things, and then barrels. So those are the 3 things we're going to be watching out for. Because again, it's not fair. Some guy comes in with their stock Ruger and you put a mag release on. Is it going to add? No, but someone can squawk about it. So this year we're just going to say, just keep it stock, guys. Like the letter of the law. I mean, if you want to win at that cost, you really want to win at that cost? Trust me, it's not your mag release that's going to make you win.
So is it going to get like IPSC where, you got guys essentially, inspecting the guns before or after, or have a stage where, you got to, is it going to be like that?
So for the stock rifles, we will inspect every single stock rifle throughout the match at any time. And really all we're doing is trigger gauge. We just want to make sure you're within the 2.5 to 8 pound range that your rifle came with. So if you've got a stock Ruger 1022 synthetic, it's going to be around 8 to 8.5 pounds. If it's 7, we're not going to squawk. But if it's 2.5, we're going to have a problem, right? Well, not a problem. You just bump you up to open.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the next bud is. If you're not,
it's pretty clear that somebody's got a Volquartz and Sear modification.
Yeah, you could tell, man. There's no way that's a stock. If it's less than 5 pounds, it's not a stock trigger. So, and that's the next category is open, which is basically you've got a stock receiver and you've changed stuff on it, right? You put a chassis, put a barrel, which is probably 60%.
Well, and John's got a good question here. What about the bubble trigger job on a 1022?
Just thinking that
it ain't stock.
I'm gonna pull it on the trigger gauge, and if it's less than 8 pounds, it's open. Do whatever you want, but you're not shooting in stock category because it ain't stock.
Take your Bubba into the open category.
Right.
We should call it the Bubba division.
I think that is much better.
That would go well out here in the prairies.
Yeah.
No, we'll call it John Rogers. We just got Rogered.
That's right.
We'll get Rogered.
So again, why are we doing this? Because we got to find a way to level out the playing field and let everyone play in their own lanes. Like you change the barrel on it, you're not competing against stock. I don't care if the 1022 competition has that barrel on it. It's not stock.
That's
If
right.
you want to be that, just buy the competition and shoot that. Right. But again, a lot of people already have something changed on their 1022. So that's the open division. That's where you live. That's where you're going to duke it out. And what's going to cause failures is ejection and feeding. Probably 90% of the issues are going to be feeding and ejection.
Absolutely.
Right.
So does that include magazines as well? So say you're shooting stock, can you only use the 10 round rotaries, or can you go to
like so magazines is not a performance enhancing, it's actually a performance limiting switch. So if you want to run the Butler Creek with the plastic lips, go right ahead.
Yeah, right.
You know, I would rather stick with what came from the factory that I know that works, because round count in your magazine is not going to win you anything.
No.
Our stages are long enough that you've got enough time to complete the string of fire. And if you can't, it's probably not the magazine that's holding you back, right? So again, that's why we're not putting any limits on magazine capacity. You know, it's enough that you are showing up with a 1022 magazine fed rifle, right, for the first 3 divisions. So let's talk about the divisions again. So open is basically you've changed something on your rifle that is potentially performance enhancing. So you've bedded the rifle, you bedded the stock, you've changed the stock to a laminate, you've got it in a chassis, you've got an aftermarket barrel trigger set, whatever, right? You're in there, you're open. The next category is unlimited, which is non-Ruger receivers. So these are the BXRs, the Volquartsens, the Tactical Solution, the Gray Birch. Yep, those are all unlimited. So those are, everybody else can play in that, right? That are using a 1022 magazine still, right? The 4th division is outlaw, which is any rimfire rifle that isn't using a 1022 magazine and is not a Ruger receiver. So that's the bolt action Ruger Precision Rimfire falls into that category because it uses a Ruger mag, but it's not a 1022.
That's right.
You know, it's not, you know what I mean? So it uses the Ruger 1022 mag, but it's not a 1022. So it shoots an outlaw. That's kind of the only gray area we had in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else. So if you want to run your Marlin 795, you're shooting an outlaw division, which is cool. So anyone with a rifle can participate as long as it's 22 LR.
Jeff Campbell says he's going to let his GSG 16 rip.
Awesome. That's perfect, man. That's going to be awesome for the Rimfire race gun stages.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, right on. Okay.
That's X22 challenge. So those are all scheduled already. I think we've got the Easterns and the Western Championship scheduled. I think they're all on practice score now. Did I announce it already? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. I went out a couple of days ago. So those are all out there. And that's going to be a blast. So yeah, so the Western Championships are in Kamloops Target Sports Association, beautiful facility. All the bays are going to be within 50 yards of each other, so that'll be fun. So we've been there since year 1, so it's going to be awesome. And the Eastern Championships are going to be in Stittsville Ranges near Ottawa. So that's kind of central for most people in the Ottawa, Quebec area. So that should be a blast. And if you guys are planning to shoot those events, I suggest you book now, even though it's in almost 12 months away, because these things will fill up. Just don't be disappointed. If you're thinking about shooting it, get out there, practice course, search X22, and book now, because we can only hold so much, because there is a lot of work involved. We'll need more volunteers than ever, because we got to score stuff now, paper targets and all that stuff.
That's right.
More in match directors. Jesse, hold your horses, Jesse. We're getting to the sniper series. Jesse asked a question. Enough about this other semi-auto stuff. I want to know about sniper series. Yeah, so that's the X22 challenge. We think that's going to draw a lot of people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Certainly, it's kind of like a Mapleseed event if there ever was one. NPOA shifts, standing positionals, some long range, close range. It's going to be real.
Don't give it away.
It'll be good. Actually, we're going to post all the targets, and we're going to post all the paper targets and steel sizes so folks can practice. We'll also publish our approved steel vendor sponsors, so you can buy steel from them if you want to practice. And then we'll also post our sponsors for the matches, and we're trying to arrange discounts with them as well. So all you builders out there can get some help on the thousands you've already spent on your custom rigs.
We got one more question from friend of the show, John. He says, did I hit the
Yes.
darn
This one is sold out.
that's Dave Tree, but John says multiple rifles for one competitor, or do you have to run one rig for all the stages?
So our goal is to find the best shooter, right?
Mhm.
And it's one shooter, one rifle, man. If you can't run one rifle to win, then are you really the best shooter?
You know what you really need to do? You need to do a competition where all the competitors don't bring their own rifle. There's one match-sponsored rifle, and everybody shoots the same goddamn gun.
It would be great. You know what's even better? Putting all the guns on a pile, and everyone just grabs one rifle.
Yeah. Just musical chairs for the guns or
Not
something.
just musical chairs. Actually, on that note, we're actually working with our sponsors to have some demo rifles, some high-end demo rifles available for use during the match if you want to try it out. I mean, you'll obviously have some time to zero. You'll calculate using the generously provided lab radars by Lab Radar. You can get the velocity, and then you'll calculate your dopes, and then you just grab the rifle, grab your ammo, and shoot the match with it. So we're going to do that for all the series, hopefully in next
Do
year.
you find typically a lot of people do that in competitions, or are they, my gun is like my jock strap, and that would be my question.
So
Uncomfortable silence there.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever used someone else's jock strap. I'm pretty sure I've used it once or twice.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, are people more like
rugby days?
jock strap and nobody uses it but me, and I only use my gun?
Yeah. So typically, if you're running a Rim X, you're not going to borrow a rifle.
Yeah.
But if you're running, the rifle you had since you were a kid, you may want to explore what the other options are to see how different it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's those opportunities that, so our call out to the sponsors is, 75% of the guys that shoot our matches are shooting their first rifle competition, right? This is the perfect chance to get a first impression with a shooter for life.
Yep.
Right? Over 50% of our participants spend over $1,000 in their first year of competition, right? So you've got that first chance in the first year to grab their attention and make them confident shooters, right? So that's the thing. If I was going to, if I'm shooting my, Marlin 795 with a 4X scope and I borrow a Bergara BXR and I love it, why would I buy something else, right? I know what it does. I love it. I put a, 5 to 25 Strike Eagle on it. That's my kit. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's the opportunity for sponsors, and that's the opportunity for shooters. I can use it in the environment that I'm going to be using it for, and I love it. Or it's not for me. At least you'll know, because you're in a store, you look through a scope. Yeah, you pick up a gun. Yeah, it feels like a gun. Yeah, it's got a trigger. Yeah, it goes click. It's light, heavy, whatever. But until I shoot it in a match, oh yeah, this thing's light. It's pointable. It's balanced. Right. It feels good. It's solid. The cheek rest is perfect. The palm swell is perfect. Fits me like a glove. Right. That's what you're looking for, is that magical moment when you find the perfect rifle, or the perfect rifle for this year. For us.
For that match.
For that match, yeah. So that's the opportunity.
That's for sure.
So we're hoping to announce some big news in terms of the big name sponsors stepping up and helping us put, great rifles in the hands of our shooters to help them understand what quality and confidence can lead to in a match environment. So yeah, so that's the X22 challenge. That's going to be huge. That's going to be fun. I think that's going to grow as big, if not bigger, than CRPS. So, which scares me because my wife is already on the edge of not being very supportive of this. But we'll talk about that after.
Bring her with you across Canada.
I've tried to. Yeah. I've done that. I've done week vacations in the middle of that West Coast trip, fly her out. But since COVID, it's been a little tough to convince her to come out. So, but yeah, hopefully next year holds a better year for travel for us. So yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Right on. So what about Rimfire race guns?
Rimfire race guns. So Rimfire race guns is basically a steel challenge. So if you love close quarter ring and steel, kind of like IPSC with steel,
that's my jam.
Rimfire race guns is it, right? So you've got steel placed 10 to 25 meters. You've got 1 to 7 steel targets, and you place them at different heights and different sizes. So we've got circles, squares, diamonds, and 1/3 IPSC targets, and they'll mix and match heights and distances, and it goes from 6-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch. So we got a lot to play with. So this is standard set. So our sponsors, Guangzhou Targets, is coming out with a set. We've got a couple of other vendors across Canada that we'll be listing on the website that are authorized vendors. I mean, these are steel. It's not rocket science, but these are the guys that support the series. So we encourage you to support them. And like Outlaw Rimfire Precision, we publish a monthly course of fire. So we set the course of fire. Everyone shoots the same match across Canada. So ideally, the Outlaw guys are going to be shooting this at the second half of the day because Outlaw match takes about half a day. So Rimfire race guns, you get 5 stages. You've got 5 chances per stage to score your 4 best times. So we dropped that loser stage where you kind of bobbled the whatever, right? Which is good, and it's fun because we set the sequence. It could be left to right. It could be right, left, middle, right? So the par time is 30 seconds, and then on the beep, you engage the targets as fast as you can correctly and hit the stop plate at the end.
Now, like you said correctly, so is it like Steel Challenge in the sense that you have a specific cadence and order of engagement?
Correct. Okay. Correct. Yep. And a no-hit is a 3-second penalty, and a missed stop plate is 30 seconds.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's fun. We've already had a couple of demo events across Canada last year, and it was very, very well received. So we're launching that this year as well. So it'll be like a subscription. Your range says, I want to set up a match in February. Tell us what date, what the address is. We'll send you the medals. We'll send you the prizes. We'll send you the practice score backup file. So all you need to do is restore that on your tablet and score, and then upload the practice score.
Nice. So a lot like it's like a postal match style.
Exactly, except it's live. Every month we publish the scores from across Canada, so you can see how you stack up next to, let's say, some mythical person, Trevor Furlot out east, right?
Mythical person named Trevor Furlot.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Feather Turlot.
Yeah, we're not racing RC cars. We're talking about guns here today.
How the mighty have fallen.
You should participate in this, hey boys.
Well, it sounds like my jam. That's my go faster die kind of thing.
Fun, man.
I just registered for the X22, so I don't know. I'm on limited time here, so I don't know if I'll be able to do the race gun.
And so our platinum sponsor Grey Birch is putting out that red dot ready receiver 1022.
Yes,
so all you do is choose the right plate and snap your red dot on there.
Well, that's a good segue to Aaron's question here. He says, "Is the race gun series for pistols as well, or
it is if we are on a CFO recognized range, you're able to bring your pistols out. If it's on private land somewhere, then we're limited to rifles, irons, and rifles optics. So there's 4 divisions: irons and optics, rifles and pistols. And you can shoot as many divisions as you want, but we always shoot the hardest one first, so you're not end up practicing, right?
Now my mind's racing. Now what should I get?
Get them all.
It's going to be GSG 16. Just be done with it.
There you go. Yeah.
No, you got to go pistol or nothing, man. That's the way to go in my.
I got to bring out my stock Browning Buckmark. That's what I'm going to do.
Buckmarks are nice pistol rifles.
Yeah, mine's like, I don't know if it's like 1st gen, 2nd gen. Like, it's not a new one.
Yeah, it's good. It is a ton of fun, and and I'm always surprised when I find people that are surprised that they end up winning because they didn't know they were fast shooters. But they're guys blazing through in like under 2 seconds.
Really?
If you like shooting a plate rack, you're gonna love this. This is gonna be, and it's like shooting a plate rack with no setup. You might have to go paint the target. That's pretty much.
And the cool part is you get 5 shots at the same stage, so you got like redemption round. This is the one, and you always crash and burn because you go too fast, but it's fun anyway. Just laugh at you got to be able to laugh at yourself.
Are you really a competitor? No, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and I watched Jerry Mitchelluk video.
You subscribe to Jerry Mitchelluk's YouTube channel,
and that one is where reliability is going to bite you in the ass if you have not shaken down your pistol or rifle. Yeah. It's Jam-O-Matic City is not pretty on that stage on the start table. It's like
yeah, it's X-rated.
Yeah, just run so much through it.
Yeah,
so that's Rimfire race guns. Yeah, we'll be announcing that in January. We're just trying to clear the. I gotta release CRPS events soon, and then take time for the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, and then We hit it hard in January, the announcement of Rimfire race skins and sign up host ranges.
Didn't you hear Christmas has been canceled?
No.
You're not
We're all
doing.
gonna- We're all going to meet at Costco and have our Christmas there.
No, they got fined.
Oh, did they?
And did you guys not know that in Manitoba, Costco was fined $5,000 for selling unapproved merchandise? If you can believe that.
Drop in the bucket for Costco.
That's also very true. They sold more than $5,000 in contraband product that hour.
They sold that many hot dogs in that hour.
Exactly.
It's probably the best deal in hot dogs in the country.
It is, and some of the best hot dogs too. Let's be honest.
Regardless, let's go back to guns.
Hot dogs and long rifle.
I'm getting hungry.
Brent,
I need some airdrop.
point, did we go through precision bolt guns already?
They're all precision bolt guns, Brett.
Right. But what about this sniper series you were talking about?
Oh, the sniper series. So here's so the sniper series, the format isn't new, right? People have been shooting, they call them Rifleman's Team Challenge out there, or the Mammoth Sniper Challenge. These are basically field course or field match format. So the PRS world is filled with fancy barricades and different positions. This is more of, this is more rugged and down to natural terrain where you'd expect if you parachuted in somewhere and you had to hike out to the firing point. This is kind of what it's simulating.
Yeah, take your
You got to
time
bring
with you.
you got to everything. If whatever you're going to use that day, you have to have it with you. You cannot leave it behind. You can't go back to your car to get your Twinkies and donuts and your half cup, frappe lattes, right? This is unless you want to bring it with you. So that's the goal of this. Is it's self-supported throughout the day. All the water, all the food, all the gear, every single little doodad, and you're not allowed to. Well, our rule is if you can go across a rope bridge or climb a ladder with it, you can bring it. So if you want to bring that cart and do that test, be my guest. But the goal is this is kind of rough and rugged, rough and ready. Not all the courses are going to have 10K hike. It's going to be. Here's a match. It's in a 100-yard square football field, but you're gonna have to bring everything you need to shoot that day with you at all times, right? You can't stage it. You want to bring a pop-up, you got to drag the pop-up with you. So that's kind of the scenario. You're basically bringing everything you need with you. This is a 2-man team challenge, so there's a sniper and spotter pair, and you'll alternate spotting and shooting at every stage. There is no course of fire provided to you anytime before you get to that stage. So it's completely unknown to you what the scenario is going to be, but there will be a scenario. We're going to tell you where you're going to shoot from, what you're going to shoot off of, or you're going to just shoot off your tripod or off a ruck, whatever you've got. Here's a flat piece of ground, and you're going to find 1 to 5 targets out there in this general direction. It's going to be beside a tall tree with a Y, or it's 270 degrees that way. It's roughly 6 feet off the ground, and it's a 12-inch or a full IPSC, roughly 17 by 44, right? So we'll give you all the information needed. You'll be able to use electronic rangefinders and ballistic calculators for most of the stages. 1 or 2 stages might have to be, here's a 12-inch plate. You've got to figure out how far away that is based on milling, or here's a full-size IPSC, or here's a 2x2. Figure out the distance, and then you got to run your dope calc, and then first shooter's got to hit it, and then second shooter's got to shoot the second target. And point values always decrease. So first round hit is 3 points, second round hit is 2 points, third round is 1. And you've got to neutralize a target, right? Oh, in some stages, right? So scenarios will vary.
As well as rimfire, correct? Or just centerfire only, or what's?
Say again?
Is it centerfire only, or rimfire only, or
This
centerfire?
only. So Sniper Series is Rimfire Sniper, CRPS Sniper Series. So we've taken the centerfire match and we've adapted it to Rimfire. Right? Because if you look at how many of those we're going to have out here in Canada, there's probably 1 or 2 Rifleman's Team Challenge. I know that Ryan Christie out in where was that? Near Brandon? Shiloh. He had one of those, and I think there's a couple of matches out west. But now what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring that match format to the Rimfire and make it accessible to everybody. So our goal is at least 4 matches. I think we've got 4 now, and we'll talk about the Twisted Roosters rifle team.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get to that at the end, Rooster. So the match format is that. So and then the course fire, the sniper has a role, the primary shooter has a role, secondary shooter has a different role, and it could be different roles, it could be the same role. You'll know when you get to the stage description. So here's the thing, you don't have all day. You've got the prep time to say, here's the scenario. Take your notes, figure out what you have to do. You have to know what you have to do, right? Then you have to have that plan. Then you go to the firing line, and the RO says, shooter ready, engage. And it's up to you to execute that course of fire. And he'll say, wrong target. And you have to figure it out. If you don't know how to recover from that, you're screwed. He's not going to tell you, it's the one on the left, right? Or it's the one on the right. It's wrong target or impact, right? And then the next thing you'll hear is time expired. Then you move off the firing line. So it's up to you to know what you're supposed to do.
I did that once with center fire with a couple of buddies. I was planning on setting it up for a good sized match, and I just went through with a couple of buddies just as a test, and there was too much whining.
Yep.
Didn't go ahead with the. That's crazy.
That's part of it. That's like, so it's like the worst marriage you're ever going to be for the day, right? Potentially.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have good communication skills, and you have to have good people management, time management, and communication. So that's why there's only 2 divisions. Well, really, most of the events have 1 division, which is open. And in your events case, Rooster, we have a 2nd division called hardcore.
Nice.
So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So most of the matches are going to be 1 day, except for the championships are going to be 2 day. So the 1 day matches, we're going to have between 5 to 8 stages, depending on how much walking you've got to do and how difficult the target engagements are on how to find it and what you're shooting from. So it'll be between 5 to 8 minutes long, and usually both shooters will have to engage targets. It could be the same targets, it could be different targets. You'll never know. You'll know at the stage. So, and then that's going to be part of the fun. Then you'll move through. So that's a 1 day event. The 2 day events, you're shooting twice as much. And I guess now's a good time to announce your match, Rooster. So in Saskatoon, we're having the Twisted Roosters. What do we call it?
Twisted Rooster Rifle Ranch.
Yeah, Twisted Roosters Rifle Ranch Extreme Sniper Series Challenge. So this is a 2 day match, and there's 2 divisions. One is open, so you're shooting 2 days. So open guys can go home or go back to the hotel, but the hardcore guys are sleeping out on the range overnight, self-supported. We'll provide porta potties and water, but that's all we're providing. The water might be in the course of a stream, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to scout it out. But you're camping overnight with the other hardcore guys, and you get up bright and early at whatever we decide, whether it's 6:30 or 7 or 6 or whatever. We'll decide where the starting time is, and we'll go from there.
We got to find somebody with the trumpet.
We'll just get a helicopter flying the flight of the Valkyries. That's the right way.
I'm on it.
That would be awesome. Johnny, don't surf. Yeah. So that's gonna be a blast. Again, it adds that slightly again, because there's limited properties that we can do this at. We'd love to, if you're a property owner and you love this kind of insanity, let me know. info@rimfireprecision.ca. We'd love to host a 2 day overnight extreme challenge, just like the Twisted Rooster Rifle Ranch. So how is it scored? Again, it's a team challenge. You'll get individual scores, and your 2 individuals add up to your team score throughout the day. And again, it's always a descending point count. First round hits always count for 3. Second round hits will be 2. Third round hits will be 1. And you've got X number of targets.
Got some good terrain out there, boy.
Yeah.
I know you do. I'm going to be out there the week before, just kind of walking it through with you. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Kurt, we got to do a well out there so we can get a water source just for the hardcore guys, hey?
There's the well.
It could be a really gnarly well too, where they've got to have a really good filter and a pre-filter. You said water, man. It doesn't have to be clean.
Just that's right. I didn't
filterable down to
it was. Yeah.
And the shovel and the depth level.
Yeah. And again, if this is too much and you want to spectate, we need volunteers like you wouldn't believe. Every stage will have a dedicated RO that knows the course of fire. So you're not getting, you're not playing broken telephone. That RO is dedicated to that stage. We're going to have a dedicated spotter who knows how to spot targets and knows where the targets are, right? So you've got a pair of people at every stage. So that's what's going to keep this fair. So the spotter working with the sniper is calling your hits, just so you know if you're missing. You can say, half a mil up, 1 target over left, 1 target high, right? That's their role, is to get you on target. But we've got an individual independent spotter counting hits for scoring purposes. It's going to be a blast. So again, it's kind of the next level stuff. And it's really not about the gear at this point. It's about time management, stage management, and discipline and fundamentals. That's going to and just grit, just getting it through the day, because it's going to be a tough, grueling day.
That communication is going to be so
Communication.
paramount. Yeah.
Paramount.
Yeah.
There's two good questions here. Well, there's one good question. There's two questions. The first question is Doug Rodenbush. So we don't have to lay in the grass in the ghillie suit for 18 hours and pee in our pants before we can shoot. Then I think the answer to that is Doug. You do.
Yes.
I do that. I do that already.
I'm doing that right now. Second question. Alan wants to know when Rooster's match is.
It is August 17, 18.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me just quickly check. It's
man.
It's actually in practice score. I don't think we've announced it. Did we announce it yet? I don't think we announced it yet, because we just confirmed that it was a go like yesterday, right, Rooster?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a blast. So it's in Saskatoon area. I think it's worth a drive. If you are crazy about stuff like this, it's going to be fun. And we haven't quite decided how much rucking you're going to have to do, but it's going to involve rucking.
There's ample space out there. I'll just
girl, see that smile on Rooster's face? That does not bode well for you guys.
I'm a bit of a prick when it comes to matches. I love to see suffering. I do.
That's awesome. So if you're looking for what is probably going to be the most painful match you ever shot in Canada,
but the most rewarding by far.
That's true.
If you do the hardcore 2-day event and you make it through that day, you have a notch on your belt, regardless of how you placed. You know, you can say, I did this, right? And
it's going to be awesome.
You bring the cactus and the ticks and the mosquitoes and everything else.
And, you know, you get that midsummer humidity and area. Oh man, that's gonna be
you had me at ticks. It's going to be awesome. So that's and again, I'd love to do the same out west, but I don't think again, this is our first year. We're going to start slow, and as we develop a relationship with landowners, and we'll be able to expand it to the extreme. We've already got the site for the BC Western Championship. We're just waiting confirmation next week to announce that location and date. But it's familiar to most shooters out there already, so you won't be surprised when we announce that. So hopefully, cross your fingers, we'll be able to announce that next week. So that'll be good. So that'll be at least 4 events. Well, actually, no. It's going to be 5 events so far. Come on, Alan. Just get some boots.
Alan's like Indiana Jones. If you say snakes, I'm out.
So, Alan, I know you're going to be there. You and Marlon are going to be there. You know it. Who are you kidding, man? The
only snakes out there is select family members of mine.
It's gonna be a ton of fun. So is it something new? No, it's this match format's been around for years and years. Yep. We're just adapting it to Rimfire and just having fun with it, because I think CRPS is running well. Now it's time to kind of provide a little bit more edgy, fun stuff that we weren't able to do before. Now that we've got the experience of how to run matches with tablets, and willing landowners like Rooster and his twisted ideas of what fun is. I think we have very similar thought processes. So that's why I think it's going to be a good synergy. I feel sorry for you guys are shooting. We're gonna be driving around in side by sides and air conditioned trailers over.
Yeah. Good thing I started that diet. Hey, Kurt.
That's right.
Oh yeah, you're shooting it, right, Sean?
Freaking absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
You betcha. So, some good.
Ben from Extreme Range is saying he's going to sign up to be a sponsor for that match.
Yeah,
and he's going to shoot a match. I'm going to make him shoot hardcore.
And why?
He's got to, right? He's got to step up now. I mean, he's like,
absolutely,
he's got to shoot. So Ben, challenge is on.
Yeah, everyone who completes it gets a shirt. Survivor.
Oh man!
We'll bypass the water and food.
Yeah,
you get a shirt.
You get a T-shirt. Only if you complete and don't die.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. So that's the sniper series. Again, that's gonna grow. Just like X22 is gonna grow, and hopefully, out of all of these series, people find something that they fall in love with, or do all of them, right? Again, we're just ratcheting it up, involving 4-man teams, 2-man teams, sniper spotter. That's probably the most intense communication and I guess, relationship building that you'll need to do, because you're going to be yelling at each other all day, and it's going to be fun to watch the dynamics and the good teams and the teams that kind of implode.
That's always gratifying to watch that communication, and both when it falls apart and when it works well. You can learn from both. It's great to see guys communicating back and forth and their particular style and language, I guess, if you know.
And the cool part is that we've got great support from the community. So Go Big Tactical is our title sponsor for the CRPS Sniper Series. So CRPS Sniper Series presented by Go Big Tactical. So they are a full range provider of all you need for this type of match.
Yep.
From Kestrels, ballistic calculators, all of the Minox and US optic scopes, and all the Voodoo and Rimex rifles that you need. Again, you don't have to have it, but at this stage, it certainly doesn't hurt. And all of the bags and all of the supports that you need, and again, there's a huge community out there, so it's going to be interesting. We're going to be looking at trying to set up some mini matches, some kind of learning matches as well for guys who don't know what this is all about. Mm-hmm. We kind of need to find ranges to do that as well, but that's our plan as well. We're also looking at getting loaner rifles, matched pair of loaner rifles from the various sponsors that we've got. So we haven't nailed down the big name sponsors yet, but we're looking at full kits from known action providers and chassis providers and optics providers, so that you can, as a pair, borrow a ready to race pair of rifles using the same equipment up and down to the bipods. So that'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're pretty lucky with our sponsors. So
no kidding, you've done really well, man. Great. Wow.
I'm excited. This will be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
For some.
Yeah.
For some.
I'm going to tell you right now.
For Rooster and I.
Never mind. I'm competing if I can too.
There you go. Yeah, you can shoot with Sean. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sure. Let's go.
I already sent a text to John saying, "Are you my partner?"
I was gonna say, Sean, make sure you got a handle on your pack in the back there.
Oh no, I won't need that. I'll just rip darts the whole time and I'll be okay.
Yeah, no smoking on that range. I'm telling you.
Right. In the middle of
the other
dry summer.
Yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention is again, all of our series, all youth shooters compete for free, right across. Yep. For team challenge, you can field a youth team. There's only going to be a limited number of spots because these spots are in high demand. Mm-hmm. For the 2-day challenges, we have 2 youth shooter teams. The youth shooter teams can bring a coach with them to help them out through the 2 days to get them on target. So I think that'll help get more shooters into the sport. Mm-hmm. So they just need to they're able to bring a coach. Again, those guys just spend the day, shoot free, and learn and have a good time. Hopefully not learn too many bad words from you foul mouth senior shooters.
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Fucking be awesome. Yeah. And also if you're an adult and you want to shoot with your son, daughter, nephew, niece, not a problem. You're responsible for them. It's a good way to bring people up. But we only have one division, so there's no youth division, so they'll compete in the open or hardcore division if it's available. So
that's the only 2, open and hardcore. There's no
Rooster's Ranch, Twisted Rooster Ranch is the only one with hardcore division. All the rest just have one open.
Woo!
Because it's not about the gear, it's about the shooter.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's as basic as that.
Oh, a lot of news tonight, Rick. Jeez, you're dropping bombs on the first focal point.
Man.
That's awesome.
It's been a busy month.
No kidding.
It's been percolating throughout the year, and then we had our Eastern Championships the beginning of November, so it's been a month of digesting and putting it down on paper. But it's been good. It's worked out really well. People have been stepping up and saying, "Yeah, let's do it." So
I think we need your help to get Centerfire going a little bit more. Light some fire under that. It seems it's been a little bit slow to take off with the PRS type stuff.
Some great matches out there. I mean, unfortunately, COVID kind of shut them down, right? Yeah. Because the access to the ranges. I know that Ryan McLean runs the Beaufort Long Range Steel Challenge, which I love shooting. And then there was the sharpshooter match out west as well. That was on the Rob Furlong, wasn't that?
Mm-hmm.
somewhere out there. So yeah. Again, it's I can only have so many. Again, I'm riding that thin edge of the locks being changed when I come home from a Western trip. So
John says it's about the shooter and how well they can shoot hungover with the shakes and puking their guts out. I think John's a little bit crossed up there. I think he's mostly referring to our former yearly
Spring
M14 clinic and shoot.
Screw that. I just found my next partner. John, you're my kind of partner.
Hey, back off. He's mine.
Sorry, ladies. He's taken.
Well, on that note, boys, that was awesome. Great freaking show. That was amazing. You guys have any shout outs this week? Or let's start with you, Rick.
Oh man, it's the sponsor community. All those retailers and manufacturers just we don't collect funds from our sponsors typically. All of the gear they provide is either put on the prize table directly for you guys, and they've been more than happy to step up and provide gear that most guys won't be able to afford. I mean, we got lab radars, CZ rifles, vortex scopes, Athlon scopes out there. I mean, it's they understand kind of Canadian shooters are important shooters, and that this series is that key connecting point between shooters and manufacturers, and they've been more than happy to keep that pipeline flowing. And I also want to shout out to all the supporters. I mean, we've got guys, I was just talking to a couple of guys who were at the first time match and the invitational match from day one. We were shooting in one of our Corey Johnson's field just to see, is this thing going to work? I mean, those guys are still around. Our first match in Owen Sound, they're still shooting the series. They're not shooting their Savage Mark IIs anymore, but they're still in and having just as much fun. So shout out to them for making the environment as fun, forgiving, as welcoming as I'd hoped it would be. With a 600 plus shooters we get every year, you're going to find some bad people, but I haven't found them yet. So I've been surprised and grateful that we've been able to build such a great community around the sport. And they've been great ambassadors for, if you want to have fun at the match, come check it out because we have a ton of fun. So thank you guys for making it fun for me, because that's how I get paid.
Yes, sir. Chris?
Well, I'm going to shout out Steve from Grey Birch Solutions. I've been sort of emailing back and forth with him for quite a while since they kind of started things out. I got a receiver from him. I got a barrel from him. Actually, I got the LDR receiver serial number 1. They made a mistake. They accidentally grabbed Steve's receiver off of his desk and shipped it to me. So that was kind of nice, but it's still only half built. I've got like a 45-year-old stock Ruger bolt in it. I was emailing with Steve just over the last couple of days. I'm finally going to get that bolt swapped out for one of their bolts. I'm going to put their V block in there, and I'm waiting on their SF chassis that hopefully I'll be seeing in my hands. So hopefully I will have a complete Grey Birch build by mid-January, so that I can start breaking it in for over the rest of the winter, and then go shoot this guy's X22 matches in 2021. So I'm just going to shout out Steve for helping facilitate some of that, and for making a great product, because so far they makes a hell of a 1022 clone right now. So
sure. And Steve and Jeff have been great Mapleseed sponsors too. So
yeah,
Awesome.
That's another great reason to say thank you to them.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I got a couple, I guess. I got EM Precision. They're going to be building my ELR rig, my 33XC, as well as Jens's. Shout out to Curtis Customs down in Texas as well, supplying the action. Who else? Well, Jens, he's been like a dog on a bone on this ELR thing, and he's collecting powder and bullets and making suggestions about barrels and barrel profiles and all that kind of stuff. Bennett at Extreme Range Outfitters again. The auction, I just scored what the heck was it? 224, 338, 300 grain burger bullets on the auction for a pretty goddamn good price. Really good price, actually. So really appreciative of that.
Nice.
I think that's about it.
Right on. Well, I've got two. I got
Maker that wants to be represented at King of 2 Miles next year. Hint, hint.
Ryan, Stacy, if you're listening.
338.
They're up. That's right. Well, I've got two this week. I got obviously present company Rick. You're doing a hell of a job promoting not just Rimfire but firearm ownership in general. And for that, sir, I thank you. You're doing a hell of a job. Keep it up. I got, and second and last but not least, I got Chris and Jeff from Predator World Hunting, who are absolutely murdering coyotes. It is Coyote Holocaust this year, and out here they are killing it with their Dennis Lair in Star City Go Ballistic custom build 20 BR. They are just going to town, and check them out. Predator World Hunting on Instagram. They're always posting stuff on there. Yeah, they're great dudes. They've been on the show a couple times. They're awesome. So check them out. Yeah, that's about it. Good talk, boys. That was awesome. Thanks, Rick, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Always fun.
Stay cool. Don't forget to eat your prayers and say your vitamins. I'm looking forward to seeing you next year.
Eat your prayers, say your vitamins. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, apologies to Wes Stevens. We ran out of time for you again this week. A big shout out to John Johnston and his band, the Dirt Road Scholars, for the kick-ass music for those of you listening out in podcast land. And we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.